Just consider it. That's all I ask. Second story of the day is about Tom Perez and the DNC mostly shutting down Fox News from hosting a Democratic primary. It's going to be an absolute circus, the Democratic primaries. I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's going to be funny to watch. But it's kind of a big deal. I'll explain why. Tom Perez said, quote, recently reporting in the New York, and like I said, I took this from the article, it's a quote from an article, but you get it. I'm just protecting myself on all bases because I know how lawyer happy these people. Oh my God. Tom Perez, recently reporting in the New Yorker on the inappropriate relationship between President Trump, his administration, and Fox News has led me to conclude that the network is not in a position to host fair and neutral debate for our candidates. So he's decided that he doesn't want Fox News to host a debate with their candidates. Even progressives know who... I'm just being nice, guys. You guys are useful idiots for liberal elites. Like, you're useful idiots for leftist tyrants. They're just going to use you, but it's okay. You'll figure it out. Anyway, even progressives know who, out of every network, who gives Tulsi Gabbard the fairest shake? Fox News does, Tucker Carlson. Who's the only person on television who's anti-regime change war in Syria? Oh, that's Tucker Carlson. Oh my goodness, it's Fox News. Okay, so whoa, two progressive things. It's Fox News who's doing it. Who talks about Amazon and agrees with Bernie Sanders when it comes to Amazon in the United States? It's Tucker Carlson on Fox News. So even progressives know, although they don't want to admit it, and they'll grit their teeth because they think it's a sports game where they're going to win, but they're actually going to lose. They know that Tucker Carlson on Fox News actually gives the fairest shake to progressives. And I'm not saying you have to agree with them all the time. Fox News, I'm not saying the whole network, but they're the home to pretty much the only political discourse, intelligent, free-thinking, wide-ranging anti-establishment news reporting. They're the only ones doing it. Even progressives, they won't admit it, but low-key, they know I'm telling the truth. And sometimes they'll admit that. Some do, most don't. So let's look at the other television. Let's just be honest about it. I don't care if you're progressive, left-leaning, right-leaning. ABC, establishment liberal, establishment neo-liberal, neo-conservative. It's all ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CBS. What does SNL do? What does Comedy Central do? Are they making fun of both sides, or is it all one-sided pretty much? They very rarely take the conservative or the centrist approach. All they do is Russian collusion. Even a lot of lefties understand this. It's all propaganda, guys. The entire television station, the entire television networks, besides a part of Fox News, and they even have Juan Williams, Chef Smith. I watch Fox News. I think it's clearly, and I come from a position, I just say this because it's true. I come from a place where I used to think Fox was the worst. It was evil. It was Sean Hannity was the most evil person on television. And to be honest, maybe he was. I didn't follow it that much, but I never liked them. Now I don't have an ego, and I don't have a sports team to defend, and I don't have this creepy ideology to defend. So I watch television. I don't own it, but I'll watch it sometimes, and I'll tune in and I'll compare and contrast. Fox is the most unbiased. Fox is the most balanced. They actually have liberals and progressives on. They do fair reporting sometimes, like Tucker Carlson. The rest of the entire television is like 100% authoritarian propaganda box of Russian collusion and left-wing talking points, establishment. So if you eliminate Fox News, guys, and a lot of liberals will be like, oh, and progressives, oh, I don't like Fox. You don't have to. But if you don't understand that the entire television is a propaganda box, and if they take away Fox News, it's 100% propaganda, 100% establishment, liberal elite, whatever you want to call it. It's 100%. 100% is not good. The reason I do it, Anomaly, why are you here? Because the whole world is here. They think they're here. So when I'm here, I'm balancing it out. And everyone's like, oh my God, Tim Pool's here. You're here. He's here. Center's here. Tim's like left. And they're like, oh my God, Tim, you're far right. Your whole perspective is a lie because all of mass media is so far gone. They make it seem normal, but it's not normal. So if you eliminate Fox, even if you're progressive, it's 100% control. Twitter, Tim Pool brought it up. 21 out of 22 people that they banned had a right-wing, skew. It's not a coincidence. Their set of rules is far left. And they're, oh no, we're the far left. No, you're far left. You're further left than the liberals. They're far left in other ways, but you're just the useful idiot. You're the ones who are going to usher in all the support and the energy, and then they're going to suck you dry. Has Bernie Sanders called out the DNC? Has Bernie Sanders called out the mainstream media manipulation? Has Bernie Sanders called out the censorship? No, he's done the exact opposite. He says if you don't like the establishment elite because he told you to vote for them, then you must be influenced by Russia. Bernie Sanders is a snake. Bernie Sanders is big government and establishment government control wrapped in a creepy old face. Why do you think he's doing events with Sean King and Cory Booker and Hillary Clinton? Why doesn't he call out the DNC? Because he is the DNC. Because he's going to usher in. They don't have anybody but him. He's the sheep herder who's going to lead all of the high energy progressives right back to the slaughter. Oh my God, I thought it was going to be free healthcare. Well, no, guys, that's just what they told you. Because if they told you we're murdering babies, we're lobbying to bring ISIS back here after we low-key funded them overseas, we're lobbying to bring people in here. We're going to subvert the demographics and subvert natural order. We're going to use women as a scapegoat to murder mid-birth babies and say, women's choice, women's rights, it's all about women. We're going to use minorities and Hispanics and blacks to usher in this communist, high government takeover, authoritarian. You're not going to vote for it. You're going to be like, whoa, I didn't know that was about. I thought I was just going to get free healthcare and equality and all the minorities were going to live in harmony. Yeah, that's what they tell you. They can't just tell you what they're doing. It's so obvious. So, yeah, it's a big problem that they don't want Fox to host the debates. It's not a big problem like, I don't care about Fox. I don't own cable. I don't watch Fox. It's not my thing, and they've never even had me on. All this good talk I've done and all these, I have 22 videos with 1 million views. I have videos with 16, 17 million views. They've never had me on. I don't have an allegiance to them. They should have had me on a while ago. I talked to CNN and MSNBC, but God knows they're not going to let me talk. And if they do, they're going to frame me out of proportion. Anomaly, they're going to take like where I have my hand up, I'm stretching, and they're like, Anomaly is a neo-Nazi. It's like, what are you even talking about? They're such liars. It's a big deal because it's all about mind control. The right mind controls people in many ways, and I'll call that out sometimes. But the left, the whole thing is a mind control. They're trying to control your mind so they can control your votes, so they can control your purchases, so they control your actions. If you can't literally enslave people, like it's not easy nowadays. They do it a little bit in Libya and Muslim countries, but it's not easy to be like, hey, you're a slave. They used to do that to everybody, Arabs, Irish, black, and it wasn't just whites doing it. It was Arab, black people selling each other. Jewish people. There's all cultures were involved in it. Anyway, you can't enslave people anymore. So what do? They have to enslave your mind. Marcus Garvey talked about this in the 1900s, but nobody was listening. Malcolm X talked about this, and he got murdered by somebody. Anyway, they have to enslave your mind, and then they can enslave your decision-making, actions, purchases, your physical. Like, they want to control people's mind. And in certain ways, I'm not even a huge fan of Fox. I like Tucker Carlson. I like the fact that they'll have rare guests on. But in many ways, I feel like I feel like Fox News is a little bit contained, where it's like, we'll let you be conservative, but don't go out there. Like, whoa, don't touch on that. They have their constraints. But without Fox News and without Tucker Carlson on television and a few others, it's 100% information control. And this is what the left wing is doing. And it's progressive left too. It's not just the establishment elite. It's the progressive Bernie Sanders types. They're just a little bit sneakier, and they're just a little bit more believable. They're controlling 100% of the television with this move that they want to do, or they're trying to do. And trust me, if they ever got power, they would say, Fox is propaganda. The truth is, even progressives know it. CNN is propaganda. MSNBC is propaganda. There's propaganda on Fox as well, but it's not just Fox that does it. It's like all of them. They would shut Fox down, use propaganda as an excuse to make it 100 to 0. Fox and Trump have a point. There's so much propaganda. It's not like 50-50. Trump's trying to push back and say, at least if there's going to be propaganda, let's do a 50-50 split. He's pushing back from the 5%. Bernie Sanders is in the 95% saying Trump and Fox News are bad. He wants 100% information control. If you have that, combined with the education systems, combined with the tech companies that are inherently anti-free speech, if you read a dictionary definition, if you read a scientific definition, you can get banned. It's against their rules to say dictionary and science, and in some cases history. It's all about information control. And if you look at the left wing, this is the most obvious part, which I just don't understand how progressives don't get it yet. If you go far right, as far as further past conservative, because they're not even really conservative, to libertarian, it's freedom. Literally, it's lower taxes, no taxes, like pure anarchy, where it's like no law and order at all, no regulations, no rules. If you start going conservative, it's low taxes, you know what I'm saying, some regulations, and you go to the center and you go left to the Democratic Party, it's more regulations, higher taxes, gun control, speech control. It's a system of control. You go further left of Bernie Sanders, he's just a little sneak about it. He's not any more woke than the liberals. He's just slightly more honest about certain topics, but slightly more evil about other topics. It's high taxes, incredibly high taxes, government control of the health industry, 100% censorship control of the tech. It's all a system of control. It's not a system of freedom. It's not a system of equality. It's a system of equality in the sense of you all get shit. You all can line up for the bread line. And there's clips of Bernie even saying, bread lines are not bad things. It's what happens when everybody can get food. No, Bernie Sanders, successful cities are what happens where you can get food, where everybody can go, I can get Ethiopian food, I can get Mexican food, I could get, American food, that's what successful diversity, that's what Jordan Peterson preaches. It's not equality of outcome, it's equality of opportunity. Everyone has an equal opportunity, but the outcome's not always going to be the same. A bread line, there's literally footage, guys. Even if you love Bernie Sanders, there's footage of him saying that bread lines are not bad things. It means that food's available. No, it means that there is no Ethiopian American, there's no affordable food around that we have, not that everything's equal. It's that it's diverse. Some is better than others. Some restaurants suck. Some are amazing. Some are expensive. Some are cheap. That's freedom, guys. That's America. Bernie Sanders' ideal of equal is everyone gets the same food. Everyone gets the same health care. Everybody gets the same treatment, but not really. They'll discriminate against Asians and whites. We all know it. Everyone gets exactly the same failure. Everybody gets the same level of what we deem equal. It's not a rise to the top. It's everybody meeting at the bottom. It's awful. It's worked. I'm going to reference Cornel West, because if you don't believe me, this is one of the leading intellectuals at Princeton University. This is one of the leading progressives for Bernie Sanders. Cornel West, teacher, intellect, activist. He was on Tucker Carlson, and Tucker says, basically he said, you realize this has never worked in human history, 0% of the time. And Cornel West did not say, oh no, it works in other countries or it works in some place. He said, I know, but it's going to work this time because racism, sexism, xenophobia, blah, blah, blah. It's never worked. And it's not working in Sweden. It's not working in Europe. It's not working in the UK. It's a slow decline. And you're going to realize what happens in UK and Sweden when you let in mass refugees and mass illegal immigrants in many ways, and you filter and censor and silence your own people, which are your citizens, but you give free handouts to these other people who are coming from cultures with higher rape rates, higher murder rates. In some cases, there's some people studying IQs and regions. That's not my thing, but you can even study that. That's science, literally. Like certain people's genetics, they have very high metabolisms. Certain people's genetics, they have really good athletics or really built-in physical abilities. It's just clear, obvious that certain people's genetics are built differently. And it's not to say anyone's better or worse or superior or inferior, but we're getting to the point, who's going to block studies on that? You have the founder of the DNA, Watson, from Watson and Crick. He's studying this stuff. He founded literally DNA molecule. It's one of the most revolutionary studies in human history. They're calling him racist because he's trying to study the difference between genetic differences in Africa and Europe and the United States. It's leftists who are changing history. They're changing science. They're not allowing science. It's okay to study white Europeans. It's okay to study Africans. It's okay to study Ethiopians and Nigerians and compare differences in African Americans in America. As far as you could study socially, you could study genetically, you could study whatever you want. Like, it's okay to study. It's not okay to say, I'm better, you're worse, I hate you because of who you are, and I don't think you're an individual, and I don't understand that everybody's an individual. You're going to find somebody who's more athletic. Like, there's, you know, Joe Ingles on the Utah Jazz. He's a white guy, but he's really good at basketball. Are all white people as great at basketball as Joe Ingles? No, they're not. It's just not true. You have other populations thriving way more in athletics, even though they're a lower part of the like, that's okay that that's happening. But it's like, am I going to sit here and be like, all white people are just that good at basketball, and you're lying that there's other cultures that thrive at this? It's like, that's a lie. It's science. It's like a scientific observation. We can have our arguments why, but the point is, we have to be able to say this stuff, guys. We have to be able to study and just like laugh about it. When I was younger, we just laughed about it. Like, you can make fun of Italians or Polish people, or I'm part Puerto Rican. It's funny. I'm about to hang out this weekend with my Puerto Rican friend who's 100% Puerto Rican. We used to joke all the time about it because I'm only a part Puerto Rican. So I would joke and I would say, like, I would do what other people do. I'd be like, yo, I'm Puerto Rican when it's convenient. You know, I'd be like, yeah, I'm so Puerto Rican. But if people were hating on him, I'd be like, yo, I'm white now. You know, I gotta play my white card now. Like, I would joke about that stuff, and it was hilarious. It wasn't racism or sexism. It was like funny, and it was a joke because it wasn't true. But it was slightly true because I am actually mixed. Anyway, no one actually cared about this stuff. Now it's like, you can't do science and gender, and we're going to block the Fox debates. We're going to control 100% of the television. We're going to control every industry as much as we possibly can with regulations. We're going to drive business and wealthy people out of the country with our ridiculously high tax rates that literally will never work, ever. It's not going to work. If you tax 50, 60%, I'll leave the state. I'm very close to doing so. If you tax the country 70%, you're either going to start a literal civil war, or you're going to drive, so it's going to turn into a hellhole. Like, it's not going to work out. If you try to confiscate guns and end free speech, like, either there's going to be, you know, an uprising like there is in France, which I don't want to happen. I'm not advocating for. It's like, if I said in France, oh, there's no revolution going on at all, I'd be lying. But the truth is, they screwed up. They raised the taxes way too high. They put an establishment puppet in, and they got a revolution. The same thing's going to happen here. There's never going to be this utopia. It's so obvious. It's why I'm getting a little bit annoyed. I should probably just calm down. It's so obvious because it's like, it's all a system of control. It's a system of information control, tech control, government control, tax control, money control. It's all a system of control. And somehow people they're like, yeah, but Anomaly, whatever you do, don't criticize universal health care, because what I prioritize is free health care for everyone, because I don't think about wisdom or truth or freedom or personal liberties or math or science or demographics or genetics or I don't think none of that stuff is a priority, because my main priority, Anomaly, is universal health care. Okay, if that's how you want to prioritize your life, if you want to ignore truth and wisdom and knowledge and just have 5 like Pew Research statistics that don't really have any basis in reality, it's not gonna end well, guys. If Bernie Sanders wins or a liberal wins, they're coming for everything, for money, for taxes, for control of health, for control of industries, for, more now that the creepy tech anti-free speech stuff will become literal law. In Sweden and Canada, here's my spin on it. In Canada, they don't have free speech, and it's getting worse until they kick out Trudeau and get a conservative, which is going to happen. It happened in Ontario, it happened in Quebec, I believe, and it's going to happen there. In Sweden, they don't have free speech. They skew statistics. They think science is racist. They're covering up their rape and grenade attack rates because it's ridiculously high. They've put way too many women in charge, and I'm not saying that in a sexist way, but they're like, we put so many women in charge in Sweden. Well, you didn't pick the right women, guys, because whatever, I'm not saying you can't ever put women in charge, but the ones you picked, they're not winners, okay? Let's just put it that way. The right wing's rising in Sweden. You have all these bad stuff. The GDP, this was Julian Assange's tweet before they silenced him. The GDP of Sweden is owned by a small number of elites, more than any other country in Europe. So it's not one of the most free countries, guys. Like they say, when you look at the structure of it, it's owned by the elites more than any other country. Look it up. You go to Germany, you don't have free speech whatsoever. You have a huge refugee crisis, which is not working for a lot of people, but you don't hear about it because they control most of the information. So they make sure that that message doesn't get out. It doesn't get out on mainstream media. It doesn't get out on tech media. And then if you're someone like me, but a little meaner, and you try to talk about this stuff, and maybe in a little falser way, but whatever, it's no more false than what other people are saying, then they block and ban your videos. So they're like, look, guys, it's not happening. Look, no, it's Bernie Sanders, guys. It's all, we got free healthcare. No. None of it's happening because we own 100% of the television now because we don't allow anybody else to talk. We control the social media. We rig the algorithm so the top 20 searches you find are mainstream media. So trust me, guys, it's great. That's what they do. From Bernie Sanders to Tom Perez to DNC to Stephen Colbert, to Jimmy Kimmel, to like MSNBC, to CNN, you get different sects, of course, but the result is the same. It's a system of information, government, financial, and social control. It's only equal. Oh no, bread lines are good because that means people are lining up because they want the food. No, that means there's no more competition, there's no more freedom, so it's all centralized in one spot where everyone has to go, which eliminates competition. It eliminates competency. It's awful. The VA, Bernie Sanders, government healthcare, it's free, it's awful. Anytime the government does anything, you ask the progressives, is government good? No. Does government do anything? What does government do right? Like some regulations, not much. They do a lot of things wrong. It's really incompetent. Okay, is government bad? No. Yeah. Do you want government to take control of your information and the Patriot Act that Bush put? No, government's bad. Okay, so what's your solution? We're going to give the government everything, and we're going to act like it's going to be flawless, and we're going to say it's free even though it's going to come from taxpayers, and then we're going to lobby for illegal immigrants to come in who are not going to pay that much into it, but take a lot of it out of it. We're going to ignore the fact that every state that's high taxed is losing money by the millions. They're not even gaining revenue because the rich people and the businesses are leaving to China, Mexico, or somewhere else. Now they're coming back thanks to Trump, who understands this stuff. We're going to give the government everything. Why? Because universal health care. No, but why are you giving the government everything when you hate the government? Universal health care. No, but why? But dude, Kyle Kalinske, Jimmy Dore, and Bernie Sanders, they gave me 5 talking points and statistics to continuously repeat on loop like a pull string doll, and it's going to work. Okay, well, just ignore speech, ignore control, ignore the fact that you have Democratic politicians openly calling for the murder of babies under the guise of women's rights, ignore the fact we have a border crisis, ignore the murder rate in Mexico, ignore the suicide rate here, ignore the opioid rate, ignore all of this stuff, ignore human trafficking and rape at the border, ignore Huffington Post and basic studies that have been done by bigger organizations than Huffington Post. Ignore all of that stuff, guys, but we care about the trans rate, so we're going to block free speech and science and dictionary terms because we want to stop the trans rate by censoring people on Twitter. Well, did you do real research, guys? Did you figure out why trans people are murdering each other? Is it because of gender dysphoria? Is it because of other factors? Did you do the study, or did you just assume trans people must be killing themselves because of people bullying them on Twitter? No, that might be responsible for a fraction, but a true scientist and a true liberal will get to the core of it because it might be deeper than that. If they genetically have a situation where their brain and their body and their soul thinks or wants to be or is a different gender, I'm willing to accept that fact. But does maybe some mental things come along with that, since it's, quite an extreme thing to have in a different body genetically? Yeah, it might. You have to study every factor of that. And liberals and progressives don't do that. It's why they're lying about everything. It's why the entire system is a system of control. And there's no point in thinking that they're not going to do all this stuff when it happens. And I'm not even tripping about it, because the truth is, in France, they pushed too far and they got a revolution. I don't want for one to happen. I'm not calling for one to happen, but it's what happens historically. Did Rome last forever? Did France last forever? Is Germany and Sweden and the UK, is it going to last forever in this perfect liberal utopia? No. It's going to slowly get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. until either someone comes along, like it's going to happen in Canada, and they fix it and make it better, or make people feel more comfortable, or you're going to screw up so much that there's going to be massive backlash unlike anything you've ever seen before. So to me, I'm at peace in the sense of like, one, I think we're winning in the sense of like good people are going to step up. Two, I think Trump is going to win by a landslide in 2020, and I'm hoping it's inspiring new people to at least look differently. Even if you're a progressive or liberal, like, look at this a little bit differently. And the final route is if they actually win, it's not going to be like little paid protests and marching with pink hats because you're so privileged that you have the money to put like $100,000 into an arts and craft project where you run in the streets and lobby to take away rights from other people. Like, that's what's called a coddled, privileged American protest. That you're so wealthy and you're so successful that you can march any day of the week, unlike in France where they're marching because they're poor on the weekends because that's the only time they can afford to march. It's like this is all fake. If a leftist wins and they enact all their policies, you're gonna get a yellow vest like protest. First of all, if a Kamala Harris or a Cory Booker or an Elizabeth Warren, although Elizabeth Warren has virtually 0% chance, she's so unpopular it's ridiculous. But if any of those establishment liberals win, instant revolution, not even debatable. Between Bernie Sanders supporters, between far left progressives who like the Green New Deal and Jill Stein uniting with conservatives, that's going to be our yellow vest. If an establishment neoliberal puppet wins the election, instant yellow vest movement. It's going to be way bigger than France. The Democrats played themselves. There's no way that's going to ever happen. If a Bernie Sanders somehow wins, now we have a more interesting situation on our hand, because the question I've been asking is, do neoliberals and liberals, are they going to go along with Bernie Sanders? Do they agree with them? Or do they dislike the far left progressives so much that they'll then join the conservative side? I don't know the answer to that. It'll be interesting to see. But also, Bernie's policies are so destructive and they're so anti not being poor. Honestly, it's like breadline level stuff. And he even admits that. That's a good thing. That means people are getting their food. If he enacts all those policies and gets away with all of the stuff he wants to do, there's going to be ridiculous backlash in the sense of, if you make it like, the reason that things are not that bad yet in America, everyone has jobs. Literally, you go to Jersey City, you go to Newark, you go to like all of these inner cities, and you ask people there, why is it so violent? They'll say, we don't have enough jobs. There's no jobs. They've been saying this for decades. It's in Nick Cannon poems. It's on YouTube. We don't have jobs. We have jobs now, guys. That's why it's not that bad, because you're not unemployed. Literally, I had a friend recently. He'd work and do stuff, and he's like, dude, I'm going to work for Lyft. He makes more money than people make in other countries doing Lyft and Uber. So do a lot of people. You can make $15 to $30 to $40, probably like $15 to $30 an hour, which is a lot considering what it could be. Even they're trying to raise the minimum wage to $15. You can make $10 an hour more than minimum wage by driving your own car. It's the greatest time ever to be in America. There's jobs. That's why if Bernie Sanders gets in and enacts all these policies and you act like it's so good just because you're going to get government-run healthcare, you're going to have VA-level healthcare for everybody. Horrible government-controlled healthcare, taking our horrible health industry, making it 10 times worse. You're going to have horrible everything, and the backlash is going to be so organic and authentic. It's like either you're going to lose or you're going to lose. Either you're going to wake up or you're going to lose. Either you're going to face reality and face the truth, or you're going to get crushed like a little bug by either a neoliberal or a false leader like Bernie. That's why I'm not tripping. It's like punching yourself in the face and acting like you're like I'm gonna one day not punch myself in the face. You're like, dude, it's never gonna stop until you stop doing it, and like walk away. As a wise man once said, walk away. So obvious. Thank you guys for listening. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America, and God bless the world. If you're a progressive and a liberal watching this, you're the real MVP. Thank you for listening. And please, just take a little bit of this wisdom and knowledge and truth like a Tim Pool and take it back to your side, who is my side too. It's all my people. And just be like, guys, what's going on? And they'll be like, racist, sexist, xenophobic, Nazi. But you got to try, or else it's not going to be good, unless you just want to lie and walk in a bad path. But take a little bit of this. You're the real MVP. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. I really do Appreciate you guys being here. And of course, conservatives and centrists and Trump supporters and libertarians and I don't know, whatever you guys, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Everybody, it doesn't really matter what you support. You get it. It's all psychology at the end of the day. It's all freedom at the end of the day. And if you're in America, it's our country. If you're in Canada, you already know what I'm talking about. If you're in Europe, you know it's true to your people as well. If you're in Australia, you know it's true. No matter where you are, it's all the same philosophy and psychology behind control, power, mind control, thoughts, actions, incentivization, poverty. Like it's all a cycle. And we get into it here. Yes, sir. God bless you guys. I'm out. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. I seen that. I'll be back. And to those who don't know, I also post on YouTube too. I'm almost up to 100,000 subscribers. I did a 4-hour live stream. And I'm on this intermittent fasting. I haven't eaten in 24 hours. I'm so amped already. I did a 4-hour live stream and I didn't even get tired. It's nuts. I got so much energy. God bless. Praise the Most High. You know, I just want to stay healthy for this moment. But yeah, I got other exclusive material on YouTube. I got rectangle videos instead of my square videos. I got rare 4-hour live streams, which are unnecessary. People say, Anomaly, I don't want to watch a 4-hour live stream. I was like, neither do I. Don't watch it. Or watch an hour. Or don't watch it at all. But the good thing with me is when people are like, Anomaly, I don't have the time to watch 4 hours. I don't blame you, but some people do, and some people were there live, so we were just having a good time live, and then I left it up. But just know, you don't have to tell me that you don't like 4-hour live streams. You can, but you don't have to, because I do 20 videos. I did a viral video yesterday that has a couple thousand shares on how crazy the media's gone, and it's nice footage. Anomaly, the quality is not good enough. That's an HD 1080 version. It's got a green screen and everything. It's quality. If you don't want to watch that, I got my rants. I got my longer ones. I got my shorter ones. I have like 15 videos, so there's no, I do it all. People are like, dude, Anomaly, you should do this. Just embrace it. Rare talk, legendary energy. That's what we're about. Have a good day, guys. God bless you. Thank you for joining.